Hey y'all, this is Gentle Yoga for Back Care. It's a beginner's class. It's meant for those of us with some spicy challenges, yeah? We're going to always try to keep it between the easy and ouch. So the number one modification I get requested is, do I have to get down to the floor? No, you do not. You can, use your chair if you like. Not all things translate well to the chair. Just kind of know that. Be patient, be kind. And again, keep everything between the easy and ouch. I'm going to stand up and move this chair out of the way, but just know I come back to the front of the room during our guided rest, relaxation, and our gratitude practice, and maybe a little bit of energy work. I'm not sure on our time frame, but we'll try to get that squeezed in. I'm going to stand up, move this chair out of the way. Welcome to class. My name is Gail. This is the 25th year I've been teaching yoga. That's longer than my DuPont Conoco career. I can't believe it. So, and I was an IT nerd back in the day. Well, I still am an IT nerd. What can I say? So we're going to start either, you know what? Let me put that chair forward, move my blankie out of the way. So if you're sitting in a chair, you're away from the back of the chair, you're shifted forward, okay? And those of us that are doing the standing part, we're going to stand with our feet pointed towards the front of the room. So they look like little skis going on here. So the feet are not out to the side or going in. They're pointing straight forward as best you can. Now from here, what we're going to do, I'm going to come up a little bit. We're going to take our hands, fold the fingers into the pads of the hands. It's called the golfer's grip. You may not be able to get them down. That's okay. And then we have the thumbs out to the side, kind of like little hitchhiker thumbs. Then we have the top of the wrist aligned with the forearms. We don't go around with cocked wrist, okay? This is part of our postures that we use for lessening back pain. So we're going to do those funny little funky hands. It's called golfer's grip. And let's bring our arms out into a letter W. We're squeezing the shoulder blades. Whether you're seated, whether you're standing, with the squeezed shoulders, I invite you to bring them out into the letter T. Again, squeeze those shoulders. That's building upper back musculature. Look at your feet. Press your feet firmly into the floor, whether you're seated, whether you're standing. Now, from here, I have my thumbs up. I'm going to point my thumbs towards you. And then I'm kind of looking at if it's a letter T, it kind of looks like a letter T. Then I'm going to draw circles forward and back behind me with the squeezy shoulders. It may start to go faster. It may not. It's up to you. And there's this little movement from the hips to the shoulders, this little oscillation. Squeezy shoulders, bilateral postural alignment. Now I have built mine up to where I can do 40 forward and forward and backwards. We're not doing 40 today, but do what you can with what you got. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Now shake it out. Bend those knees up and down. Kind of shake that tension out of the body. And then let's re-engage. So feet firm into the floor. Go back to those golfer grip hands. Go back to squeezing the shoulders, letter W. So squeeze the upper body. Beautiful. And extend those arms out into that letter T. Now I have my thumbs forward before. Thumbs up, woo, thumbs to the back of the room. Oh my. Now draw the circles behind you and forward. Maybe you look to see, are they going behind you? Doesn't have to be a big circle. You should feel some tension building up in that upper neck, let's see, shoulders, lower neck, shoulder blades, upper back musculature, and firm feet into the floor. Here we go. Keep going if you can. You can do 1 at a time if you need to. Just know that, all right? It's okay. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, shake it out. Get that tension released from the body. I just kind of like to do that sometimes. And then place your hands below your belly button and one hand above. And you can do your feet a little bit wider if you're standing, and a little bend in the knees. Same thing with seated on the chair. Relax those shoulders down. Let's do a bit of a breath here. So as we breathe in, it's like a balloon expanding. Our belly extends out as we breathe in, and then it contracts towards your spine as you exhale to get all that air out of the lungs. Okay, relax shoulders, hands on the belly. Let's breathe in, belly out and soft. Expand your balloon. Mine doesn't expand very much. And then exhale, belly button towards your spine. That's usually where I notice. It's like a really tightening of the belt when you contract that belly. Belly soft, breathe in, belly out. And then exhale, belly button towards your spine. Relax those shoulders. Again, inhale, belly out. Exhale, belly button towards your spine. One more, one more. Here we go. Breathe in, belly out. Exhale, belly button towards your spine. Beautiful. You may have noticed your chest expanding too. That's perfectly cool, all right? I've got my yoga block, my strap close by. I'm going to come down to the floor. Now, again, I have spicy back pain, so I use the chair to help me get down to the floor. I use the chair to help me get up off the floor. So I'm going to bend my knees, kind of hike up my pants a little bit. Hands on the chair, step one leg back, and I come down on that knee because the other knee's kind of spicy. Again, I got spicy back, spicy knee. And then I just kind of tip over onto my behind. Now again, you can be seated on the chair instead. So let me go ahead and shift that chair forward because I may come and demonstrate some of the stuff on the chair. Now, constructive rest posture. You're lying on your back, knees bent, feet on the yoga mat. If you can get over to the couch, if you're one of the chair people, this is very yummy for releasing stuff in the back. Hopefully it's not a short couch because that might not work, yeah? So again, I'm going to lie on my back. Woo! Pop, snap, crackle. And again, I'm looking to see where my gear is. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to kind of scoot into the middle of my yoga mat. And for me, this feels kind of difficult for my spine because I got a 33-degree angle going on with my scoliosis plus a rotation, spinal stenosis. Oh my gosh, I got all the osis going on with my back. So I'm going to grab my wrist and pull my shoulder away and then release it back down to the floor. That already feels better. Got to do the other side. All right, beautiful. So constructive rest posture is a great pose for releasing back tension. You got to notice, though, is your nose kind of looking towards back behind you. So that usually means there's kind of excessive curvature going on with the neck, the cervical spine. So I take my hands back behind my head, lift it up, and kind of tuck my chin in towards my chest, and it kind of elongate, lengthen the back of the head away from the shoulders. If this is new to you, it may feel odd. You may also, if you have excessive curvature of the cervical spine, you may want to fold a yoga blanket and place it underneath the back of the head, the shoulders, to make it more comfortable for you. So again, depends what your challenges are today. From here, we're going to contract our belly button towards our spine, lift a leg up and off the yoga mat, hands back behind the knee pit, whether you're seated, whether you're lying on your back, and let's just point and flex the foot. So to have better balance, you need to have ankles that are not stiff. So we tend to have less range of motion when we get to be more vintage or have worn steel-toed shoes or combat boots, that kind of thing. It kind of cramps our feet and makes them form into the shoe. So it just kind of naturally happens when you wear certain types of shoes. High heels also, yeah? And let's draw a circle inward with the foot. One way to help facilitate better walking, better balance, is to work the feet. So that's what we're doing. Working the feet also help with lessening back pain. And let's reverse, go the other way. So my other way always feels different shape than the original direction. Woo! You should be noticing the shin, the ankle kind of getting warmed up here. And release. Let's do the other side. Again, contract that belly button, lift the leg up, bring the knee in towards your chest. Get comfortable however this is for you seated on the chair, okay? Maybe your foot's on the ground when you do this, and that's okay too. Let's point and flex. Notice if this side feels easier to do than the other side. Maybe. Maybe you didn't notice when you started and you don't really, I don't know. I don't know is an answer also. This one feels easier for me to do. I'm trying to think. I had a sprain on the left side and I had foot surgery on the right. So I got weird things going on here. Now, draw your circle inward, ankle circle, or ankle shape. It's not necessarily a circle. It may be an oval, yeah? Notice if you feel any snap, crackle, pops. Notice if you feel stuff going across the top of the foot, around the ankle, maybe Achilles, and then reverse, other direction. Ooh. I feel lots of stuff going on this one. And release. Release it down to the floor. So we tend to do the same postures. We kind of mix them up for the back yoga. You're going to grab your yoga strap next and kind of bring it to the halfway place. And you're going to place the strap along the bottom of the foot, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, or not standing, on your back. This would be hard to do standing for some folks, for most folks. And again, you're going to invite the knee in towards the chest. So you're noticing, and you may have the hands back behind instead, but you're noticing how much of that leg is into the hip crease or the side torso or into the lower ribs. Again, it's going to be a little bit different seated on the chair because you got gravity working the bottom part as opposed to the back part. Now, what we're going to do is extend the leg out into the air. Now, you can rest on the back of the heel if you're seated, okay? Now, mine feels pretty comfortable away from the body. When I start to invite it more towards me with the straightened leg, it's like, whoo, the belly of the hamstring grabs me. So this one's a little tightly held. What we'll be doing is coordinating the movement with the breath, which helps us to lower our stress hormone, cortisol, which is linked to increased belly fat. So it's like a scientific reason for doing yoga on a pretty regular basis. So what we'll do, we'll inhale, knee into chest, and then exhale, belly button tight, extend that leg out. Inhale, knee into chest, extend that leg out, exhale. So you may notice some snap, crackle, pops. Inhale, knee into chest, in those hips, in those knees. Keep moving, keep breathing. You get mixed up on the breath, that's okay. Just keep breathing, yeah? I can hear some stuff going on in my knees and occasionally a little few things in my hips. It started out being noisy and now it's kind of smooth. What I like about the strap when I'm lying on my back, I can extend that leg a little bit more towards the floor, but I got the strap to invite the leg back. So I'm just kind of challenging my range of motion going on here. Again, you can be resting on the back of the heel and then knee in towards the chest if you're seated on the chair. So we're warming up these major joints before we kind of really work them out. Oh yeah, we're going to work them out. Let's do 2 more. Or take breaks when you need to. And then 1 more. Very good. All right, we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to place that foot back down onto the floor and then move the strap into the other leg. And then bring it into the air or resting on the back of the heel. And so for me on this side, it's more easily towards my body than it was on the other side. And I'm flexing that foot a little bit, nice and soft. Again, I'm noticing what I'm noticing, this side versus the other side. And then we're going to add some movement and breath work into this. So let's inhale, belly soft, knee in towards the chest. Exhale, extend that leg out. Woo! And again, inhale, knee into chest. Leg extends out. Exhale. Again, bring that knee in, breathe in, and out. Keep moving, keep breathing. Again, notice, is there stuff going on with the knee, with the hip? Is there a little snap, crackle, pop sensation? Little crepitus, as they call it, which basically means noises. It's a big fancy word for noise. This one feels more crinkly to me than the other side. So this is my tightly held side because I have a rotation in the spine and a shifting. So my muscles are holding me upright as opposed to the spine. So this, again, very tightly held on this side of the body. You know, all of us have back challenges due to whatever, things are going on with their bodies. Let's do 85 more. Okay, how about 3 more? 3, 2, I didn't really mean 85. Okay, I was just joking with y'all. And 1 more. Woo! And then release the strap, bring that foot back down to the yoga mat. So this next one's called the notice posture. We're going to extend one leg. You can rest on the back of the heel. If you're here on the chair, hang on to your chair. And we're going to, on the yoga mat, extend one leg and then the other. So this is called notice pose. You're noticing, woo, what's going on with my body in this pose? Do your hips feel tight? Do the, that curve in the spine feel kind of grabby? Shoulders, back of the legs, the feet. So notice what you notice, okay? And then squeeze the belly button towards the spine. Let's walk the feet back to that constructive rest posture. Again, we're away from the back of the chair if you're doing this one seated, folks, okay? And from here, grab your yoga block, yay, or towel, or if you don't have a yoga block, the inside of the legs. Might be kind of hard to squeeze though. So what we're going to do is take that yoga block, like the medium width, place it in between the legs. I got to raise up to make that happen. And then I'm going to heel toe my feet in, whether I'm seated, whether I'm here on the yoga mat. So this is called, what is this called? Letter T arms overhead extension. So remember at the very beginning, we folded the fingers into the pads of the hands. It's called golfer's grip. So we're going to do that again. All right, and have it here in front of your chest so you look like super person getting ready to fly. Well, just imagine that. And again, walk the feet in to where you feel that inner thigh grabby sensation. From your super person posture, you're going to bend at the elbows and bring the back of the arms on the floor, and that's parallel arms to the floor if you're seated. Okay, so what we'll do, we keep a constant squeeze of the block, and then we're going to squeeze our shoulders towards one another or squeeze the shoulders into the floor if you're on your back. So we're going to squeeze and release, squeeze and release. 3 more. Squeeze and release. 2 more. Squeeze that block and release. And 1 more. Here we go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze and release. Now bring the hands in front of you. Clap. Woo! Rub some circulation into the palms, into the fingers. Keep that consistent squeeze going on here with the block. Now, it's not like 100% squeeze, okay? Maybe a little over 50%. Sometimes walking those feet in towards one another helps facilitate that, okay? And if you need to adjust your block, this is the time to do so. Then, let's interlace our fingers, squeeze the palms. If you're lying on your back, you're dropping your shoulders down. Squeezy palms, tight belly button towards your spine. And then very slowly, cautiously, we're going to bring those arms up and overhead. Oh my. And we're not going fast. We're going to whatever our shoulders allows us to do. Now mine's on the side of my glasses here. I'm going to wiggle my thumbs. Kind of feel that low core activated there, kind of across those hip bones. Maybe you feel it too. And then squeeze the palms, squeeze the block, squeeze the belly. Bring the hands back in front of your chest. Oh my gosh. Clap the hands, rub those hands. I'm going to demonstrate the chair version here just in case those of you new to the chair didn't get that words that I was saying. Again, rub those hands. And again, you're away from the chair. Or maybe you're on the couch too, yeah? All right, so we're going to go back to that golfer's grip. So fold those fingers into the pads of the hands, returning the thumbs to the center. And then from here, we're going to bend at the elbows. Well, you know, I forgot my block. Sorry about that. Forgot my block. All right, so you got squeezy shoulders and squeezing that block. Very good. Now we're going to start by pressing the back of our arms, the shoulders towards one another. So here we go. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze that block. Squeeze and release. 2 more. Squeeze and release. 1 more. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Yay! Hands in front of me. Clap. Whew. All right, now we're going to interlace those fingers, straight arms. And again, if you're lying on your back, shoulders on the floor, belly button tight. Now bring those arms up and overhead. This is difficult to do seated in the chair because you got to really lengthen up. So notice where you are now. Is it further? Maybe. So I'm on the sides of my glasses now. Woo! Low core, kind of activated here. Squeeze that block, squeeze the core, squeeze those palms. Bring it back slowly in front of your chest, slowly. So this strengthens our upper and lower back musculature. Release the hands, clap the hands, rub those hands, get some circulation going on. Keep rubbing, keep rubbing. And go back down to the floor. All right, we're going to do that golfer's grip again. So do that golfer's grip. Okay, thumbs pointed towards you. Bend at the elbows. Squeeze that block. And here we go. We're going to squeeze the shoulders into the floor and release. Squeeze and release. 3 more. Squeeze and release. 2 more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Release. 1 more. Here we go. Here we go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hands in front of your chest. Clap the hands. Get some circulation going back on once again. And again. Interlace the fingers, squeeze the palms, lower those shoulders, belly button tight. Slowly bring the arms up overhead. Not fast, but slowly. Still you're breathing too. Don't hold the breath. And wiggle your thumbs. Woo. I was able to touch the floor. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it does not. It's okay either way. Just notice your progression in your range of motion. Because again, sometimes one shoulder will stop you from doing this versus the other. This is good for bursitis in the shoulders, by the way. All right, squeeze that belly button tight. Squeeze the palms. What else do we squeeze? Squeeze the block. Bring the hands back in front of your chest. The hardest part is starting it, I think. Woo! All right, release the hands, clap the hands. It's over. Rub those palms. Get some circulation going back on. I love it. It's like you need to exfoliate your palms right here. All right, release that block. Just bring it to the side. Keep it close, though. Let's do the notice posture. So extend one leg. Here we go. I'm going to shake it a little bit. Maybe tap my hip. Other one. And then shake it a little bit. And just notice what you notice. You might feel more connected to the floor. Seated on the chair, you're probably not going to notice as much as if you were, on the floor, by the way. All right, so next is going to be Piriformis Bounce and Pigeon, or Pigeon, if you want to be fancy. Again, you're going to bring your feet back onto the yoga mat. I'm going to demonstrate this one on the chair today and try to do the words for those of you lying on the floor, okay? Sometimes it's just kind of nice to mix it up a little bit. For those of you that have been to class before, you already know what's going to go on, right? I think y'all know. Again, I'm getting my block, my strap close by, whether you're lying on the yoga mat or whether you're seated here on the chair. So for Pigeon, we got to bounce first before we do Pigeon. Some of it has very tight hip musculature. So you're either crossing a foot here in front of your ankle or on top of your leg. Make sure your ankle's past your leg. This might be pretty spicy. So if you're doing ankle on top of the ankle, you would take your yoga strap underneath the bend of the knee to where you can pull the strap and let it drop. So this is the bounce part, whether it's at the ankle or on top of the thigh. If you're seated, you're pulling it towards you and letting it drop. If you're lying on your back, maybe you're pushing it away because you're not confined by sitting your behind on the chair. Now, some of us have to use the yoga block to make that bounce happen lying on our back because we don't have long torso, short arms, that kind of thing. Or maybe we just like to use the block because we can put a little bit more kind of force. And we're not trying to do this like super strong, but just to get some movement going on here. And then some of us will just take one hand on top and below and shake that leg, okay? Whether it's crossed at the ankle or on top of the thigh. And relax everything else. Woo! This definitely feels different when you're seated in the chair, by the way. Because again, you're working gravity with, different ways that you're holding your body. All right, now we're going to get into the work portion of this posture. So relax everything just to begin with. Again, whether it's here at the ankle or on top of the thigh. And then point your toes towards your knee so you activate that calf, all that musculature around the knee. And if you're seated, you're going to sit up tall. If you're here on the yoga mat, let's everybody take that bottom foot and tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap into that bottom foot. And then you press that bottom foot firmly into the floor so you get that little traction feeling going on with the lower part of the body. Again, top toes towards your knee. And then if you're lying on your back, you can take your yoga block, your hand, and push that top leg away. If you're seated, you're sitting up tall, hands on the foot, the knee, and hinge forward. Woo! It may not take very much to feel some spiciness of that top leg. Maybe you want to squeeze both buns, maybe not. Again, toes towards your knee, push that top leg away or hinge forward if you're seated. Again, it's more spicy sometimes seated because, again, you're working gravity a little bit different. Think about this one. If you're a chair person doing this, and you get over to the couch or the bed and try this. Are you still pressing into the bottom foot vigorously? That's my question because sometimes we kind of lose that because I get to talking and you all get distracted, yeah? Or I get distracted. Woo! All right, come back out of that posture, relax, release it, bounce that top leg again. However you are bouncing it, okay? And then let's bring that top leg and shake it, wiggle it. Very good. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to come down to the floor and do the floor version for my other side. Again, I use that chair to help me get down to the floor, because otherwise it's going to be spicy back pain for Gail. All right, the other leg. So I'm just going to take the other leg in the air, shake it, and then decide, is it going to cross at the ankle, or is it going to be on top of my shin knee? My thigh. I'm going to take that top leg, and you're going to lift it and let it drop if you're seated on the chair, or you push it away with your hand or with the block. So again, this is Piriformis Bounce. So why do we bounce the piriformis? That sciatic nerve may be caught into the pelvic notch, along the piriformis muscle, somewhere up in your disc and your spine. Usually it's somewhere in the left or the right side, because it splits when it goes down the legs, because it goes all the way to the top, all the way down to your toes. And so we're trying to kind of get it unnervy, okay? When that things get pinched, stuff happens. Pain, numbness, tingling, that kind of thing. We're still bouncing. All right, and then make that all still. Then the bottom foot, you're going to tap, tap, tap the bottom foot. That's tough to do seated in the chair, by the way. But it's a good calf pump, return blood flow from the lower extremities back to the heart. We always need that. All right, and then relax everything. Take those top toes, point them towards your knee, whether it's at the ankle or on top of the thigh, and then press that bottom foot into the yoga mat, very firm, very strenuous. And then either sit up tall, hinge forward if you're seated, or take your yoga block, push into that top leg. Don't forget to push firmly into the bottom leg. So you're kind of feeling little different things going on right side versus the left. Don't forget to breathe. You don't get here by holding your breath, okay? Woo! Is there any fire happening in those thighs? That bottom leg, because I'm pressing vigorously into that bottom foot. I got some fire going on in that quadricep top of the leg. It's like, woo, little buildup going on there. And relax and release everything. Yay. Bounce that top leg. Let that top foot relax a little bit. Again, do whatever kind of bounce feels okay for you and where you are, whether you're on the floor, seated on the chair. And then let's go ahead and take that leg off, shake it a little bit, wiggle it a little bit, and let's extend one leg all the way down. We're doing the notice pose, by the way. Let me do this more parallel to the room. And then the other one, I wiggle those feet, move those hips, move those shoulders, hands, and just notice what you notice. Do you feel a little bit more connected to the floor? Maybe. All right, we're going to do one more before we go to the standing thing. We're going to go ahead and do block bridge since we're kind of here. Now, this one's kind of different if you're seated in the chair. You got to make sure. Now, my chair, look, my chair does not have a back. It's not going to work. So you need to have a back to where you can put your behind pressed against the block and the back of the chair. So maybe you go over to the couch or someplace if you don't have a back to your chair today. Yeah? But this one's really yummy to do to release the spine. Maybe you can go over to the couch and do this with your block, okay? So we're going to lie on our back. We're going to use your hand or your own muscular strength to lift your behind up, bridge pose, and scoot that block underneath and lay your low behind on the block. Then you kind of walk your shoulders away. If you don't have a block today, you can do this just laying on the yoga mat, okay? Or that couch. Now, again, you do the best you can. We're going to raise one leg up and shake the leg. Again, if this is spicy, painful, maybe you do this without the block. You're still going to get some good benefit here. The being elevated is considered to be a inversion or an upside down pose. They call it inversions in yoga. Okay, it's a big fancy thing. And what I like about this is if you have pelvic prolapse, it just lets everything be relaxed and kind of work in the opposite direction in gravity. So that's, the rectum, the bladder, the male, the female parts, I'm going to talk about it. Nobody else does, but I'm going to talk about it. Woo! And shake it side to side. That always feels weird to me, shaking side to side. I don't know why. And then shake it, and then lay that foot back on down to the floor. All right, let's do the other side. Bring it up and shake. Now you can be on the balls of the feet or the entire foot as you shake this foot seated on the chair. Okay? And then shake it side to side. Don't shake yourself off the block, though, okay? I don't think I've done that yet. That would be too much of the edge on my behind. So I've got a good amount of real estate, on the block, okay? All right, you know what? Put your arms firm into the floor. Raise the other leg up. Do both if you can. Maybe, yeah? Shake side to side. I love it. I love it. All right, bring one leg down. Ooh, y'all feel that energy or that sensation? And the other one. Okay, here's where it really gets kind of yummy. You're walking your feet towards your block. You're squeezing your behind, squeezing the shoulders. Lift up. Take that block out. Roll your spine on down. Relax everything. Notice what you notice. You may feel more connected to the floor. And then let's do the notice pose. Extend one leg, then the other. So I feel like those hips have kind of finally opened up. They're not like super tightly held. Because, we sit a lot compared to, what we were doing years ago. Shake those feet, shake those hands, shake those hips. Very good. Now, if you can, you're going to squeeze your belly button towards your spine, hop one foot onto the yoga mat, and invite that knee into the chest. Give it a good squeeze. Just know air might happen. Just imagine what that might be. It just might happen. And then bring that foot back on down. Extend the leg. Let's do the other side. So squeeze the belly button. Hop your foot. Walk it towards you. And then grab that yoga pant. Grab that leg. Invite the other one in towards your chest. Again, do what you can with what you got today. And release. Woo. Now, I'm going to bring the other foot back onto the yoga mat. Scoot towards the edge of the chair. I'm going to lift up. Roll over onto my side. Come up to a seated place, but we've been laying on our back for a bit, so you might feel a little dizzy when you come up off the floor. What do they call it? The vestibular system. I know I'm not saying that correctly. And then I'm going to come all the way back on up. Now you have the option of being seated in a chair or seated on the floor. Now I don't normally like to sit on the floor because it's just really spicy for my back. So I'm going to take my yoga blanket and I folded it into thirds, so I had this, nice little thickness going on here. And then I'm going to somehow place it here, kind of in front of my yoga mat, and I'm going to scoop my booty onto the edge of that yoga blanket or that pillow. Ooh. Okay, so why do I do that? Because, I've got a kind of a curvy spine towards the floor. I'm always kind of like, I don't have the best posture. I'm just like rounded. You might have that too. So I try to really, the blanket, let me sit on the edge on this side. The blanket allows my pelvis to tilt forward. And then I feel like I'm able to breathe easier because I've got some more space happening here in the front places of my body. But this is kind of spicy for my knee. So I take that yoga block and place it underneath. Woo! We're going to do cat-cow. And then we'll do side lateral flexion and unsupported twist. They're called the 6 essential spinal movements when we do the chair yoga series. So hands on the shins, the knees. And to begin with, we're going to breathe in, the belly gets big, and then we're going to curve the spine to the back of the room as we exhale. And again, you're noticing if this is spicy, how much you're going to curve the spine or not, okay? Always kind of make a little judgment here. Now we're going to breathe in, belly big, stay in your curved position. Now contract your belly button and slowly come back up to a tall posture, seated mountain. So you're going from that pelvic tilt to a more kind of an upright position. Sometimes that can be spicy when you go from tucked in kind of pelvis, curved low back to a tall posture. Now we're going to hinge forward for the cow version of this posture. So again, breathe in, belly big. Now, contract that belly button, and you can have your hands on your legs and hinge forward. So we're not really like trying to like scoop it like a low belly scoop, but we're like the door on the hinge or the hinge on the door, you're kind of squeaking, hinging forward. Yeah. And then we don't take our chin towards our chest or up towards the sky. We just keep the ears aligned with the tops of the shoulders. So you kind of move as one unit, if that makes sense. Now, we're going to go back to tall mountain, but first, breathe in, belly big, and then come back to a tall posture. So I'm going to hand on my belly and my head. So it's all moving again as one unit. I kind of like that. Breathe in, belly big. Now curve to the back of the room. Hang on. Curve your spine. Ooh, I love it. I kind of feel like at my bra line, my muscles are kind of like peeling away from my spine. That's when my curve in my spine starts to happen. When you're ready, let's breathe in, belly big. Contract that belly. Come back up to tall posture. So I feel like my ribs are flaring forward. I got more breathing space going on. Just stay here and breathe a little bit. Now with the next inhale breath, stay here, breathe in, and exhale, contract that belly, hinge forward, woo! Stay here, breathe in, belly big, and exhale back to a tall posture. Now this is getting kind of spicy on this side. I'm switching my feet. You know what? I'm switching to the chair because again, who better to teach a class for back pain and knee pain than someone that has it, right? Okay, so I'm going to come up onto my chair because again, I'm modifying to make it fit my body today. I'm away from the back of the chair. We'll do one more cat-cow while we're here. So inhale, curve your spine after the inhale. Contract that belly, exhale. Curve that spine, curve, curve, curve. Beautiful. Stay here, breathe in, belly big. Exhale, come forward to that tall seated posture, mountain pose. Breathe in, belly big. Exhale, hinge forward. Beautiful. Stay here, breathe in, belly big. Exhale, back to tall seated mountain. All right, so next is side lateral flexion. You're seated here on the floor, that's cool. You'll have your fingertips on the floor when we do this. Those of us seated, you'll hang onto your chair either back behind you or underneath. But first, breathe in, circle, sweep arms up. And then we're going to take one hand beside our body, behind our body, on the floor. I'm going to do behind my body this time. I'm going to bring my feet a little wider since I'm seated here on the chair. And again, breathe in, reach for the sky, wiggle those fingers, belly button tight, lean the side body over. Woo! Kind of feel your feels here on the side body, yeah? Breathe in, kind of reach by over your ear. Exhale, belly button tight, come back to that center place. Inhale, float it down. And exhale, shrug the shoulders up. Inhale, release. And exhale, stay here. Again, let's do the other side. Inhale, circle sweep both arms up. Sneak your hand back behind you, either on the floor, back behind you. Very good. Squeeze the shoulder if it's back behind you. Little bonus there. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, belly button tight. Lean that side body over. Bend that back elbow to help facilitate that, or firm into the floor if you're seated on the ground. And again, inhale, back on up. Exhale, float it down. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Woo, exhale, release. Let's do that side lateral flexion again, but we're going to kind of coordinate that with the breath. So inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Exhale, bring that arm down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lean that side body over. Woo, hello, spice. Inhale, back on up. Exhale, float it down. Let's do the other side. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Exhale, reach. Behind you, reach for the sky. Inhale, reach some more. Exhale, lean that side body over. Beautiful. Inhale, bring it back on up. Exhale, float it down. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to go back to the letter W, arms. Y'all remember that, right? We did the golfer's grip, but just relax the hands now. Squeeze the elbows towards the side body so you feel that squeeze of the upper body musculature. So unsupported twist, we're staying here for a little bit, means unsupported means you're not taking an arm to support on the outside and twisting, because that's forcing a twist. We don't want to force a twist. We want that thoracic spine to twist on its own. Again, we keep the chin aligned with the chest, so if our thoracic spine twists, our chin follows, okay? So go back to relax the squeezy shoulders, kind of up and down here, little lymphatic pump here. All right, go back to your letter W, squeeze those shoulders, beautiful. All right, we're sitting up tall, whether we're seated or seated on the chair, yeah, or standing if you need to. Breathe in, belly big. Contract that belly button, twist over towards one side. Again, my chin's aligned. I usually lose the outside arm, so I just kind of re-squeeze. And in fact, breathe in, belly big, belly button tight, come back to the center, and relax it down. Again, just kind of up and down with those shoulders. Release that tension with the upper back. Again, we get like a bonus. We're building the upper body strength, plus we're getting that unsupported twist movement series. So go back. Letter W, squeeze the shoulders, feet firm into the floor. Beautiful. Breathe in, belly big. Contract that belly button, twist over to the other side. Did you twist more? Maybe you did. Stay here. Breathe in, belly big. Squeeze shoulders. Exhale back to the center. And release. Yay. Okay. Those of us that are on the yoga mat, let's come onto our hands and knees. If you feel like that, I'm staying on the chair today. And we're going to do, it's called oppositional reach or spinal balance or bird dog. I think they call it bird dog in PT. But what this is it activates the deepest held layer of our back. That's called a multifidi. When the multifidi goes to fat, it recruits other muscles to do its work, thus causing back pain. So if you're doing this seated, it's a little different. But everybody, inhale, arm up towards the side of the ear. Now, exhale, if you're here on the yoga mat, you're going to extend your leg and be on the toes. If you're here on the chair, fingertips underneath the knee, lift that leg up. So you're reaching. So opposite arm and leg extended, or knee up towards your chest, arm towards the sky, and then release, bring it back to the center. Very good, very good. Let's do the other side. So the other arm towards the ear, maybe it needs to be bent. It's okay if it needs to be bent. Then extend the other foot, be on those tippy toes. If you're here seated in the chair, hands underneath that knee, reach up, knee up towards your chest, extend the leg if you're on your hands and knees. Oppositional reach, opposite hand and leg, reaching towards the opposite ends of the room. And release back to the center. Let's do that again. So inhale, arm and leg extend out. Exhale, belly button tight, really bring that knee to the chest, leg lifted up into the air. Very good. Inhale, bring it back to the center. Exhale, relax and release. Beautiful. Other side. Inhale, arm extends out, leg extends out. Exhale, knee to chest, leg comes off the ground, extend out into the sky. So arm and leg off the floor. Beautiful, beautiful. Inhale, release it back down to the center and release. Wonderful. We're coming up to standing now. So wherever you are or staying in your chair, that works too. I'm going to bring my chair here on the front long side of my yoga mat. I'm going to move my yoga mat away from the wall. Somehow I have a traveling yoga mat when I do this. Kind of like the traveling wheelbarrows, okay? Then I'm going to bring my chair here on the yoga mat. You do not have to do the chair, by the way, when we do the standing portions. We're doing warrior 2 with the golfer grip arms. So we're going to step those feet out, lift the heel, turn the foot towards the short end of the yoga mat, bend the knee. And so this is your foot position for the standing. If you're doing this seated, you're coming over to the side of the chair, stepping a leg out, and then you naturally turn to the center. You bring your torso out and over the leg in front. You're vigorously pushing into the floor, whether you're on the yoga mat or seated on the chair. So you're just not having the feet be on the ground. No, we're trying to do bone building when we do this. So we're doing vigorous pressing into the floor. So vigorously, feet into the ground, and then go back to that letter W, squeeze those shoulders. While we're here in letter W, bring the fingers into the pads of the hands, thumbs are up, and then check knee aligned with the foot. Okay, that's for the standing, folks. From here, arms out to the letter T, thumbs towards the front of the room, squeeze the shoulders, and do those circles. You may be hand on the chair, hand on the hip, one arm at a time. Firm feet into the floor, whether you're seated, whether you're standing. So this is a bone building posture also. All right, keep the feet, relax the arms, the shoulders up and down. And then from here, let's see, hands to heart center. And then arms out into a letter T, palms up. Reach forward and up into the sky, hand on the chair, hand on the hip, hand on the side of the leg. You can look where the hand is, or the elbow pit, or look forward if you're getting wiggly today, or hand on the chair. This is reverse warrior, also a variation of side lateral movement. So float the arm down, straighten the leg, pivot the foot, walk it in. If you're seated, bring the knees together and bring the other leg out to the side. One knee forward, one knee out to the side. Standing, step those feet wide, or maybe wider. Lift the heel, turn the foot, bend the knee. Again, firm feet into the floor, like intentional feet. I'm intending to feel my feet on the ground, whether I have shoes on, sandals, or barefoot, or socks. Okay, back to letter W. Wiggle those fingers for me. All right, and then bring the fingers into the palms. All right, golfer's grips. Extend those arms out. Thumbs towards me to begin with. Squeeze these shoulders. Thumbs up, thumbs back behind you. Ooh. Draw those circles behind you and forward. Don't lose the squeeze. Maybe it's tiny circles. Maybe it's the size of a bowling ball circles or a Frisbee. Something like that, yeah? Whatever you need to do. Squeeze. Feet firm. Keep firm. Again, you can do one side at a time. Let's not forget to breathe and firm feet into the floor. Woo! Couple more, couple more. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Keep the legs. Shake out those shoulders. Kind of wiggle stuff, yeah? And then we hands to heart center once again. Yay. Maybe you're feeling your heart rate go up a little bit. And then arms out into that letter T. Let's do palms up. And you reach out and over to one side and scoop the hand up into the air. Hand goes down the leg or onto the hip or your chair. And you can take your nose, look where your hand is or your elbow pit, or eyes looking forward. That works too, okay? Notice what you notice, okay? Woo! Float the arm down, straighten that leg, pivot the foot, and bring it in. Now, come away from the back of the chair, come at the forward part of the chair. And those of us standing, feet pointed towards, I don't know, it's not going out to the side, okay? No Charlie Chaplin going on here, okay? Again, maybe walk your feet in a little bit. If you're seated, kind of aligned with your hip bones here as best you can. We're going to do the 8-movement meditation series. So first, arms out to the side, kind of wiggle those shoulders a little bit. Very good. So we're going to inhale, gather our arms in. Exhale, raise them up to shoulder level. Inhale, open up wide. Exhale, bring them forward. Inhale, float them towards your chest. Exhale, push them away. Inhale, lower. Exhale, open up. Let's do that again. Inhale, gather. Exhale, rise. Inhale, open up. Exhale, bring them together. Inhale, float them towards your chest. Exhale, push them forward. Inhale, lower. Exhale, open up to the side. This time, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bend your knees, bend your elbows, push feet firm into the floor, hinge forward if you're seated. Very vigorous feet into the floor, chair pose. And again, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bend the elbows, bend the knees, hinge forward if you're seated in the chair. Very vigorous feet into the floor. You're smoothing out that wrinkle. Press down and away. And again, breathe in, circle, sweep arms up. Maybe be a little bit more vigorous. Maybe bend your knees a little bit more. Stick your booty out. I love it. Breathe in, circle, sweep arms up. Reach, 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 reach for the sky. Now stay here. Bend the elbows, feet firm into the floor. Make sure your knees are not dropping in. They're aligned with your hips, aligned with your feet as best you can. Woo! Stay here. Don't hold the breath. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. And again, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. Now you can either be in the chair, seated your behind in the chair, or lying back down onto the yoga mat. You're trying to get comfortable for that guided rest and relaxation part. What I sometimes like to do is I'll turn my chair sideways and I'll put my legs on the chair. Let me just demonstrate that because this is really yummy for the back. And I walk my behind away from the chair. That causes a little bit of a natural traction. And sometimes I cross at the ankle, sometimes I don't. And it just lets you kind of relax into the floor. Now, a lot of us don't have chairs. We're doing the floor version, right? So, again, you may be having spicy back stuff going on. I'm just going to leave that there. You may have knees together, feet apart. That's really yummy. Or extend one leg and then the other. So wherever you are with your getting comfortable posture, I invite you to get comfortable as I come up to the front of the room to do that guided rest and relaxation portion of the class. Part 2 for reducing chronic daily pain is, going and doing a yoga nidra practice. So that helps you reduce your pain, helps you to sleep better, helps you to kind of lessen the monkey mind that may be going on, like repetitive thoughts or having an earworm, a song stuck in your head. So again, we have one of those going on every night of the week. We have recorded versions over there on SoundCloud, and I'll send you some links to that. So wherever you are, just get a little bit more comfortable. Maybe that means kind of shaking an arm out. You know, if you shake one, you got to do the other, right? And maybe you're kind of shaking the body and then let it relax, be melted into the surface that's supporting you, whether it's the chair, whether it's the floor and the chair, whatever combination you got going on there. Sometimes I have the air conditioner on, and you know, when we become still, we become a little bit cold. So I grab my little throw and I'll cover up my toes especially, and then, you know, the front side of my body, wherever I'm at. So I invite you just to notice the breath. Don't change it in any way. What does it feel like here to breathe in? So notice what places are moving. Maybe the chest, maybe the belly. So again, breathe in. And as you exhale, again, notice the places that are moving as you exhale. Let's do that again. Breathe in, notice, and exhaling. Maybe the heart rate's starting to lower a little bit. When we do chair pose, that kicks up the heart rate. Let's do that again. Breathe in, expand everything, and exhale. Now I'm going to give you one of my favorite visualizations today. Just imagine you're on this warm, sandy beach. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. You're on this little beach blanket. You got the overhead umbrella for the bright sun and everything. And everything is like really chill, yeah? And you hear the kids down the way playing, laughing. They're kind of going in and out of the water. And you hear the birds overhead, those seagulls making their little bird noises, yeah? And then you hear the water coming towards you and then receding away. So you hear that little kind of shushy noise is what I like to call it, the ocean noise. And again, as you breathe in, hear that little kind of water noise. And as you exhale, hear the water noise again. So again, it matches your breath. All right, so as you are taking your eyes past the horizon there in your imagination, you're noticing the sun starting to set. You see all the beautiful golds, the yellows, the oranges, maybe a few pinks thrown in here and there. Again, as the sun is starting to set, you're noticing all those warm colors. And again, you're hearing the water and hearing it recede away. Then a few moments pass, and you're noticing again, you're looking out over that ocean's horizon. You notice the sun has set, and you're noticing all the blues, the blacks, the grays, the purples, all the variations in between. And you're noticing the air is really crisp and clear as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Beautiful. Then as you are taking your eyes skyward, you're noticing the planets, the stars kind of starting to pop out. You're noticing the Milky Way. Maybe you see the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, that North Star, or maybe your favorite star constellation. Again, the air is crisp and clear as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Again, notice that night sky, the crispness of the air. Good. And then from here, I invite you to come back into the now, into the present moment. So start by wiggling those fingers, those toes, maybe a few little movements in the wrists, maybe kind of moving those ankles a little bit. If you're lying on your back, bend the knees, bring the knees into the chest. If you're here seated in the chair, feet wide, hands on the legs, knees into chest. Let's do a little side to side or circular movement. Those of us seated, let's start with the shoulder circles, nice and slow. Get a little bit of movement back into the body. If you got a little spicy area, maybe you kind of stay there, go back and forth a little bit, and then continue in that movement. Very good. And then let's reverse. Let's go the other way. Again, getting a little movement in the body. Love it. And then come back to the center. If you're lying on your back, go ahead and roll over onto your side, and then gently push up to maybe your forearm for a little bit, and then come up to seated. So once everybody's up to seated, what I invite you to do is drop your chin towards your chest, get a little upper back stretch going on here, and then bring the head back to heart center. Let's place the hands to heart center. Let's do swimming dragon just for range of motion in this neck complex, okay? So we push the hands away, turn the head the other direction, breathe in, and then exhale, bring it back to the center. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale, push it the other direction. Very good. Stay here, breathe in, and back to the center. From here, let's do swimming dragon. So we spread out the hands, little starfish, bring the arm out to the side. Now, I lower a little bit more, but I'm on the camera, so I think my arm will disappear. But you turn your thumb to the back of the room, and you drop the opposite ear towards your shoulder, and then lift that chin up. A little bit more blood flow through that carotid when you do spread the feathers. And then release everything back to the center nice and slow. Do the other one. Spread it out. Take that arm out to the side, and you're going to turn that thumb to the back of the room so you feel activation of the arm, the shoulder complex. Take that other opposite ear, drop it towards your shoulder, and then lift that chin toward where the wall meets the ceiling. Very good. And release. Beautiful. Kind of shrug those shoulders up and down here. All right, we're going to do the hand tapping sequence and then go into our gratitude practice. So to begin with, tapping the sides of the pinkies, that's for lessening headaches and vertigo. So it's not whapping, it's soft tapping. That stimulates the meridian that's on the side of the hands. So something that's in traditional Chinese medicine, the meridian places, the acupressure points. Yeah. And then we're going to do the interwebs of the thumbs. That's for digestive disorders, nausea. So you kind of tap, tap, tap in those interplaces. So if you know somebody that's on chemo, maybe you can give them this suggestion to avoid, nausea. What I would also suggest is like tapping the feet up and down as you're tapping the inner webs of the thumbs, the fingers. That helps keep the mind off the nausea feelings when you're doing more than one thing. Now, switch it other direction. Ooh, a little brain work there too. Okay. Again, you're not whapping, it's a soft little tapping. That's, again, for digestive disorders, for easing nausea. Next is the interwebs of the fingers. That's for pain and numbness in the limbs. So again, we're going to go in those in-between places and tap, tap, tap. Be mindful of the rings, okay? You may need to be a little bit softer, or if you have rings on both hands, they may make some noise together. So this is your normal way of interlacing your fingers. You probably did this when we did the overhead extension. So let's bring them together, wiggle that top finger, and then switch the other finger to be on top. That's probably going to feel weird because that's not your normal way to interlace. And tap, tap, tap. Again, for pain or numbness in the limbs. Typically, we do each of these a minute, but we're not doing them a minute here. We're doing like a little sampler, okay? Now we're going to do the pulse points, the wrists. That's for heart or cardiovascular issues. Now sometimes we'll do it like this, but I like to do up and down because then I get to do it more time. Because we flip it over to the other side too. Tap, tap, tap. So this is a little bit of the energy work that we do in our chair Tai Chi class, but I like to include it sometimes in this class if I have time. Now flip it, and let's do the other side. Makes a nice little noise there. Very good. Next is cupping the hand and tapping on top of the other hand. That's for osteoarthritis, back pain. Now, if you've got rings, you're kind of curving it a little bit more. You can also place the hand on the leg and tap on top of the hand. But sometimes when I do that, I tap a little bit harder than I need to. So I do hand air taps. Again, it makes a nice little sound. Let's do the other side. Here we go. Again, I've got a ring on this side, so I'm cupping it more so I don't hit the ring on top of the hand. Makes a different sound because I'm positioning it a little different. Back of the wrist is for lessening neck and shoulder pain. So again, back of the wrist, cup that hand. It's not a strong thing. It's to stimulate that meridian point that's associated with neck and shoulder pain. I'm going to do the other one, but my watch is in the way, so I'm going to go a little bit higher. That's more noisy. Again, this is for neck and shoulder pain. Next is making that fist. Let's lessen some of our anxiety, our stress by punching into our palm. Now, maybe that's a little bit louder, a little stronger than tapping. Maybe it's a little bit of a punch, yeah? You're also going to notice, is this one strong compared to the other one? Or which one is stronger? Okay, let's do the other one. This is definitely my weaker side, so that's my left side. And maybe your right side, I don't know. Very good. From here, clap those hands. Rub some circulation back into the hands. It's lovely. You can kind of do like this as you're kind of like making meatballs. That's a little bit more heat into the hands, or just back and forth, the campfire kind of thing. Very good. Now, if you want to, you can take your glasses off, if you have glasses, and cup the palms over the eyes to lessen dry eyes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, breathing in. Breathing out. From here, let's bring our chin towards our chest, hands stacked or hands together at our chest. And let's think about one thing or an idea of gratitude. Let's bring whatever we're grateful for or that idea, bring it here into our heart space as I drop that chin towards our chest. Very nice. You can keep your chin towards your chest, or you can gaze your eyes open or closed forward. We're going to do our traditional ending sayings to end the class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, and the understanding, and that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of gentle yoga for back care.